Hello and welcome back to the Love Talk Show. Today we're talking about the good and the bad. Good and bad examples that surround us on a daily basis, right? And after all, it's just a matter of choice to which one you're going to look up to. However, we know that depending on the environment we find ourselves, that example, that person is around us, that role model, however you call it, can somehow really mold us in a way that sometimes is irreparable, right? But there is always hope. And that's why the two of you are here, especially you, Rennan, right? Now, we would like to know how you both were in the beginning of the relationship, the beginning of, immediately after being married, right? I would like to know from you, Carla, how was Rennan in the beginning? He spoke a little bit about himself, but you know, you as the wife, what can you say?
Very complicated, you know, because when you see someone and then when you live with somebody, it's completely different. So, yeah, he was, like he had said, he was a bit aggressive in his words. Never physically, but aggressive in his words. Like, I was a person who's very caring, just like I said. I was caring, always wanted, when he arrived, everything was done. An example is that I used to prepare everything. I used to work and still used to come home and prepare like 2 different kind of foods. I used to do like one more light and one more heavy. And I said, okay, whatever he's feeling like having, then I'm gonna have. Just an example. And when he used to get home, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want anything. And I waited until like around midnight, waiting for him. I didn't eat anything. Said, no, I'm gonna wait for him so we can eat together. Then, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm like, oh my word, I did all this, took such a long time.
So you felt a little bit unappreciated.
I did. I said,
He
no,
was
it's
a little bit uncaring.
Yes, he had some parts that were caring, but not all. And then obviously with time, and that was the first shock. I said, I got married, I didn't expect it to be like this because I never saw that. Like you had said earlier on, I used to compare a lot. So I said, oh, my family wasn't like that. We always waited for each other to eat together. So now...
Did you think he was going to be like your father?
Yes. Kind of.
Mistake.
Kind of.
Mistake that men, women make.
I used to compare myself.
It's normal. It's normal. We understand.
Yeah.
And obviously, by the way he dealt with situations, the way he behaved was a shock, right?
It was a very shock. And then obviously I like to talk. And then he doesn't like to talk. So he said, I don't want to talk right now. And if he was upset, he would give me the silent treatment, which I hate. The silent treatment,
so
not
he gave you the silent treatment also?
Yes.
Yeah, he's very famous. He's very famous.
What was the record? Hours or days?
No, I think it was just a day because I personally don't like to be upset. So even though he might be nice, I'll always talk to him. So somehow he will speak one word, even if it's just one word.
So he did better than me then, because I think mine was 3 days.
Wow. No. Just probably even a day. Or ignore what I said. Like he used to, sometimes when I used to speak to him, if he didn't want to reply, he would just ignore, like if I didn't even say anything. And for me, that was like very hurtful. Okay. And yeah.
Rennan, what do you have to say then about Carla?
Yeah, so she was very, very bossy in the beginning. She wanted things like this and like that. Sometimes I used to feel like Susie, her dog. She had a dog called Susie and she said, sit, come, sit down, here, eat, turn around. And I used to feel like this, always controlling my time, asking a lot of questions. What should I do, what I shouldn't do? Speak like this, don't speak like that. And I thought I was like a...
You seem to be a bit angry too today.
Yeah.
Good that things changed.
Yeah, but this was very complicated.
So perhaps you saw a little bit of her mother in her.
It was her mother. I saw when I used to visit, when we were dating, I used to eat, knowing her house, knowing her mother. In the same way her mother used to treat me, like, eat this, eat that, eat a lot. And I'm full, I cannot eat, but I have space for the dessert. So the same way she was. The same way. She was like her mother.
Oh my goodness. Thank God you guys learned intelligent love.
Yes, indeed.
But you see, you said you thought you were a gentleman, right? And you perhaps thought that you were...
Just being caring.
Being caring, I'm being caring. But you see, this is the good thing about marriage. Because you learn, you learn to be who you need to be. Not necessarily who you want to be. Because if you want to be who you want to be, then you're going to hurt your spouse. So it's good that it shapes you, it molds you. Because we are very bad judges of ourselves.
Indeed.
Right?
We think the best of ourselves. Of course, we realize we have some mistakes.
We hold ourselves in
Very high standards.
High standards
Yeah.
and high regard, as they say, right?
It's like this, you might not realize that what you've seen in your life is what you do. You haven't learned otherwise. You haven't learned differently. Even if somebody were to teach you, oh, this is how you should be as a husband, this is how you should be as a wife. It doesn't work like that. It's what you saw throughout your life. It shapes you. It influences your choices,
And some
your
parents
reactions.
make the mistake of saying, do what I say, but don't do what I do. I heard that from my father.
Me too. Not my father, my mom.
Yeah. So, and that doesn't work because you are seeing something, right? And that's what's going to mold you. You go by examples. You don't go only by what people say, but by examples
It
too.
stays with you, right?
It stays with you. So, guys, we really appreciate your story. It was very nice. In spite of you being married just for 3 years or just over 3 years, you are very mature, right? In the way you are dealing with the situation.
And very cute. Like you said in the beginning.
Thank you.
Very cute couple.
Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank
okay?
you. It was a privilege.
Thanks. It was wonderful.
Thank you. As we can see, examples define us. I mean, maybe defining is a very very strong definition. But obviously, it molds us. It shapes us somehow. You know, people who you're surrounded with, especially your parents or family members. You know, it's complicated. So, as you were saying before, it's not only what you hear, but what you see, and that's some sort of seed that's sown inside of you, and it's gonna bear fruits. No matter how good of a person you become in the future, you need to be able to spot those roots and uproot them, because when it comes to relationships, it's gonna come to the surface. It's gonna come to the surface. Like Rennan was saying, around his friends, around co-workers, he was very kind, very nice, smiling, choosing his words very carefully. But now his wife, he was being rude. He was being sharp. And he didn't want that because it was still inside of him. So in spite of not being like his father, I believe the way he lived his life up to the moment he married his wife, he was doing much better than his father, but there was still something inside.
Yeah, and the secret is to recognize that pattern so you can break it. That's why many relationships, they don't work, because you have things in you that you don't see and you always blame on the other persons because that person gets the worst out of me. Whenever I am with that person, so it'll be easy.
It's you who brings that up on me.
Yeah, it's not me, it's you. It's your fault. So the secret is you need to recognize it so you can break it. And it's not an easy process for you to fix that, for you to unlearn something that you have learned all your life, that you have seen all your life. It's strange. It's one of the strangest things, I think, that sometimes you've seen examples that you hated and you promised yourself, I'm never going to do that.
Or good ones in the case of Carla, seeing that all the time. It's not only once. You've seen that, throughout the years of your life as you're growing up, up to your teenage years. So that molds you. Okay, that's how I'm going to treat my spouse. Okay, that's what marriage is all about. On the other hand,
the bad
one
ones
can
do
say,
the same thing.
I don't want to marry anyone. I want to be single or just have, a relationship here and there, very loose relationships. Because if that's what marriage is all about, I'm out. Because that molded that person.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't recognize yourself because the thing that you hated the most, you catch yourself doing. So it's important to recognize it so you can break it and work, invest on fixing it because it's not quick. It's not something they say, I'm not going to be like that anymore, and then you are not.
And it's very easy to blame on the parents.
Yeah.
So, okay, fair enough. Yes, you could, but now it's you.
Yeah.
It's you. It's sown in you. You have to uproot that. You have to break that pattern, as you said. It's you. You have to do with that. It's pointless to say, oh no, this is what happened to me in the past. My parents didn't set a good example. I was surrounded by, terrible people, nasty people. Fair enough. But now it's you. You are in a relationship, and that's how you're behaving towards your partner, your spouse. You didn't want that, like Rennan said. I didn't want to be that kind of man. But when I got married to Carla, as we always say here, your spouse becomes your mirror. You see who you truly are. So recognize that. Don't blame the other person. Deal that with yourself. Don't say that the other person brings that up in you. No, it's already in you. All you need to do is deal with that. You know, they attended the seminars, the love therapy seminars. They learned intelligent love, and this is available to people, you know, whenever they want to learn more about it. You can go to our website, for example, lovetalkshow.tv. You can learn much more about that. Go to our YouTube channel. You know, watch the videos, watch previous testimonies, shows, stories that will somehow help you make the best decision that you can. All right? After all, as we said, you have both bad and good. It's not easy, as you said, it's not an easy process, but it can be achieved, it can be done.
It needs to be done. It needs to be done if you were to be happy in your love life.
Exactly. So that's it for today. Before we go, obviously we have the 3 most annoying things. We saw a little bit of that throughout today's show, right? But Rennan and Carla will be now sharing with us the 3 most annoying things about each other. So this is it then. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The most annoying thing that I can say is when he goes to wash his hands in the basin, he shakes it off, and it makes it twice as hard for me, right?
Yeah, but you see, when you are washing your hands, you just shake a little bit, and then you go, and then you dry your hands so that the towel not get that wet.
Yeah, but it's twice as hard for me to clean it then.
Not a big deal about that. It's just a little bit of water in the mirror, and then it's going to dry anyway. It's water.
Yeah, then you try to help me. And another thing as well that also irritates me a lot is decoration. So normally the women are the ones that are in charge of the decoration in the house, but he comes home and he says, oh, I don't like this. So he goes there and takes
mine
it
as well.
and he puts it exactly how it was before. I like it like this, so don't change it. Or pillows, any little thing that I change, he'll go back and place it the same way.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
But the house is mine as well, so I need to feel comfortable there. And why do you have to put something somewhere that doesn't make sense?
Well, I like it, so just a little bit for me, please. And then another thing that also irritates me is shoes. He takes his shoes and he goes, I have like a white mat. So he goes with his shoes and he steps on it, and it always stays a little bit of marks. I don't like that as well. So
yeah, but I don't like to walk barefoot in the house. I never walk barefoot. So I need to have my flip-flops there close to the door. That when I arrive in the house, I can remove my shoes and take my flip-flops.
Another thing as well that irritates, sorry, I have a long list, but I won't do anymore.
Last one.
The last one. Is that I like to take my time to walk, and he's always there rushing, says, come quickly. I like to walk. I'm not like a man, I don't have the muscles of a man, so I like to take my time, and he's like, come quickly, and he makes me run behind him. So sometimes just let me take my time and just walk beside me and not try to rush.
Okay, I'll get from where you stopped. So one of the things that annoys me the most about Carla is that she's too slow. Sometimes I have to drag her by the hand and push her because she just takes a long time to walk. She just takes a long time to do things. So I have to push her a little bit. So if you could walk a little bit faster, no walk on my pace would be better.
And you help me to walk as well a little bit. I'll take consideration what you said, but also walk together with me.
All right, so Carla likes a lot to play like the detective. No, she makes a lot of questions. So what did you eat in the morning? Was it good? Was it too sweet? So she makes like 50 questions about something that is so simple. Sometimes she doesn't give me a rest. She's all the time asking me questions. I am sleeping already, and she asks, "Are you sleeping?" So even when I'm sleeping, she makes questions to me. So I would like if she could stop a little bit of that. So it's a little bit annoying. You know, that all the time questions one after the other. When I'm eating, she's making questions. No, and I have to stop eating to answer her questions. So sometimes I just don't answer.
Yeah, but I have a point. You know, when you get home, all I wanted to say, well, how was your day today? I was excited to see you coming. So sometimes I ask you loads of questions, but I'll work on that.
Yeah, even the time when she doesn't have anything to ask, she asks, what time is it? You know, questions all the time. So it's kind of annoying. And one of the last thing, you know, when I was single, I woke up late to go to work, and I said, I'll never wake up late anymore when I get married. But I was completely wrong. And her nickname, the sweet nickname that I gave to her is Sleepy Beauty, you know, because she sleeps a lot. You know, I thought she would help me to wake up, but instead I have to wake up and I have to wake her up. And then I go to the shower, I have to wake up her halfway. I go to the shower, take my shower, get dressed, and then I have to wake up the other half.
Well, it's when I'm extremely tired. Then obviously you wake me up. But sometimes I wake you up, right? It's not all the time.
I don't remember.
Don't even say. You're gonna get revenge. But yeah, no. Sometimes it's true. I do sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah. So let's see. The last thing is that sometimes you want like to force me to eat something that I don't like, and you know that I don't like, you know that I can stand that kind of food, but you still offers me. You know that I don't ever eat that, but you still, oh, do you want? Of course I don't. So this kind of annoys sometimes as well.
Okay, I'll take into consideration, but some things are healthy for you. That's why I want you to eat it. So it's good for you. So that's why I want to offer it to you.
So I think that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all for today's Love Talk show. Be sure to tune in next week to learn more on how to love intelligently.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.